Hey everybody, it's Obey the Papaya here. Back at you again with another video. This video discussing mid lane items due to the change with Megacosm, which is actually a really big deal with Megacosm being probably one of the most popular items to build currently for most mid laners, being the mages. We'll discuss Wraith as he is a popular mid lane. I won't necessarily talk about Fang Mao or Kalari as it's not necessarily popular, especially at low reload games. It's more stronger at higher tier play, mainly due to some of their levels of broken character design. But let's discuss it with the change in Megacosm. So over here, so let me describe this uh, graph right here that I made. It's a tier list, but it's not necessarily a tier list. So to think of it, this is going to be your first item, your second item, third item, fourth item, and then these are just kind of just items that like you can look into adding, and I'll kind of describe them. But I want to kind of keep this quick. That way, you guys can ask questions in the comments, and then I can describe more about the process of what should I do in this situation or this character. But we'll go through it like this. So the first items now that Megacosm is not available to us anymore is combustion for the assassin builds. Or just you want to do complete burst. You want pretty solid wave clear. Combustion is gonna be, that's gonna be it. So like Countess will be solid with it. Gideon can be solid with it. Who else has like a strong proc? Man, I'm terrible at thinking like off the top of my head. But so it's just a very big burst potential when you get combustion. Time warp is for the cooldowns to stay in the lane due to the mana regen. Solid ability haste and the 1 second timer that's gonna stay with you throughout the game, right? That doesn't scale up. You know, every 8 seconds, 1 second is gonna be taken off, and if you time it properly, you can be, a beast with it. So then after that is alchemical rod, and the reason why it's alchemical rod and not azure core is because I do not want people to finish this. This item finishes at the end. It's very situational in terms of how you finish it. I tend to either finish it at the very end or I tend to sell it at the end. But the reason is because your magic power into late game, just this will give you like an extra 60, I believe an extra 60 magic power and mana for 700 gold. It's a very, very good thing to invest in. But the problem is, of course, you're not getting the benefits or the crazy power. Combustion is going to give you a ton of power at the start, hence why you go with it. Time warp even is going to give you crazy power at the start. It's very high magic power damage, and it can give you a skill sooner as well. Um, so those are the three items now I would consider as first item buys. So the next item buys, you can also kind of look at Wraith Leggings being first, although that's going to give you like no sustain. So this would only be, I'd only go Wraith Leggings if like you are absolutely dominating your lane and you can tell from level 1. Other than that, it's almost a must as a second item. It has pen, a very high damage, 40 after 40% you do like 15 or 12% more damage. It's a flawless item. It's a second item buy guaranteed, honestly. Amir's, I'd put it on like a second or third because it gives you a lot. It gives you life steal, it gives you damage, it makes you scale into late game due to the damage magic power increase outside of jungle, and then inside jungle you get healing. um it gives you a ton of benefit. So, it is a good item to have. I don't necessarily build it as much because I'm very oppressive. So I usually just go with the Wraith leggings, me myself, because I output so much damage. And I feel like, being in the matches that we're in, I tend to beat my mid lane, and Wraith leggings it is better than Amir's, but Amir's is somewhere there if you need sustain on certain characters. Good for Countess. Mainly those damage bursts. The movement speed's nice, but it's what, 3%, and I think you start off at like 400 movement speed. So you're getting like 15 extra movement speed for the game. It's not that big of a deal. That Grux is still gonna hit you. Those melee people are still gonna absolutely dominate you. So it's not that big of a deal for the movement speed. Although it does help, maybe if you stack Amir's movement speed with Wraith Leggings movement speed, you'd get, more of a benefit. But then after that, I kind of listed these guys in a row right here on what I would buy now for majority of my backs. Granted, Time Warp is very solid. Like, it would be Time Warp or Combustion just depending on the character I'm gonna play. Only I go Alchemical Rod if I go Gadget because she's a late game character, but you are gonna miss out on damage if you don't go like it used to be Megacosm. Megacosm is gonna shift the meta completely, so this is gonna be wild for the next few weeks while people learn, especially the mid laners, when to get Megacosm. We'll also discuss Megacosm at the end of this video. Caustica, flawless item. This item they buffed it. It's solid. It gives you the penetration, gives you the mana regen. It's a third item. It's a third or fourth item. Only I would not get it third item is if you're absolutely dominating them and you just want straight damage to keep the stomp going. If you just need it sustain though, as well as damage, like they have a lot of tanks, then 100% Caustica third item. Tainted, if no one else goes tainted, it does give true damage. It's a very nice item, honestly. It makes you a little bit tankier. Now it gives you haste, and it is a good item. It's just that it's tough when you want to go tainted when there's of course better damage items, and you shouldn't be the one going tainted. I wouldn't necessarily worry about it, but it is solid. Lifebinder really only scales well with Countess and maybe Shinbi, but it's kind of hasn't eh, no one necessarily benefits too much from it. There isn't much overall omnivamp and lifesteal going on in the mid lane. So it's like an item that you can look at, if you do need sustain. But it really, even the ability haste, and plus at that point, now that Mega Cost is not nerfed, it could be something added on to it now that, Mega Cosmos can be a later level item. Maybe you do need ability haste and you go with Lifebinder. But I don't see it being anything that crazy still. But hey, we'll see. We'll see as people try it out. So I'd rank it, like on the third of your third buy and then nothing else really. Oathkeeper, I don't necessarily see it built much, although I'd like to see it build more. But there isn't seems like any type of mid character that really benefits too much of it. It gives you tankiness, gives you the the spell slash, right? And I mean, it's solid and now it works on towers, but who would really benefit from that? Not many mid laners because you're missing out on the passive, damage on everything else, right? That's the one con to Oathkeeper. Still probably like Sevrog and all that, you know, or Sevrog, Shinbi, maybe Quang coming out. I forgot Quang being ability power. This is going to be some interesting stuff to look at what we're going to build on him. Honestly, I would probably look at Time Warp first on him. I don't know if Wraith leggings would be built on him. That's a new character. That's gonna be something I have to discuss. So then the fourth item, if you're once again obliterating them, no reason not to go Oblivion Crown. Now the thing is, Oblivion Crown is technically an anti-tank weapon too. It's it's max HP. Megacosm is now percent bonus HP, but it doesn't proc on 8 seconds, I believe, according to the patch notes. So Megacosm is gonna do solid job at just being able to constantly proc extra damage, right, on tanks, right? And extra, we'll discuss the percent and stuff on it, but it's 4% of their bonus HP. So if they naturally have about 22 tanks, naturally have about here. I got notes right here for this. So for example, Sevrog's base HP is 2200. Sevrog's the tankiest person in the game, by the way, I believe. Um, End game, he can up to 5,000 HP, so around 3,000 bonus HP due to his stacks and everything. Most tanks get around 2,000 bonus HP. If Mega Custom has no timer, it can be buff against tanks, dealing around 120 damage per skill hit. So it doesn't have to be a skill, and then you have to hit him with another skill to activate Atomizer. Star Killer is just you do magic damage, they're gonna get that damage. So if you hit them with 3-4 abilities, they're going to take an extra 120 damage. Now, that is, if they have armor, though, that's going to punish. Because I don't think that was true damage according to the patch notes. So that damage can still get protected by armor. So I'm curious to see what is going to happen to tanks. Because I don't think this item, for say, it's going to be strong. But unless it's like, man, I don't know. Is true damage too much of a is true damage too much to like ask for when it comes to this? Because I still think it's an overall nerf on what the item is designed to be. But hey, maybe we gotta try it in the game. I think I haven't really enjoyed the patch notes that the devs have been giving out, right? So I'll read something in the patch notes, I don't like it, play the game like, oh, it's a lot better. It did better than what I thought that the patch notes would be. Then again, game and text is different, right? Um, Everything in the game, you're actually gonna experience it. Um, so Oblivion Crown, is going to be solid as a fourth item. And then it would also be, do I go Oblivion Crown or Megacosm as a fourth item? These ones are going to be the one that's interchangeable. You have a lot of squishies on your team that you just need to assassinate, Oblivion Crown. You have a lot of tanks on your team, Megacosm. But you probably will build these, together. Like you will build one or the other first, then build the other one as your last item. And then here we got Spellbreaker. And Spellbreaker is solid because if they do have a CC or some form of stopping you or anything, it's going to give you that spell shield, and you do extra damage when that spell shield is on you. Extra magic damage, or it's extra magic power gain. I forgot, but it's going to be solid, and I think it's going to be very, it is a good item to consider, especially if they have two magic damages on the team. It could be worth it, and I think it can be now, placed in the meta. So let's discuss the items under it. Orb of Growth. This thing is honestly pretty trash. I don't recommend this item at all. Maybe on Shinbi because of the heals, but even then, I think it's a terrible item. It's something that sounded good in a bad way. Like I didn't want people to have just bonus XP, but I don't know if the bonus XP is broken on here because of the catch up XP, or if they just didn't design it properly. Because you would assume, oh, they're going to be always having extra XP. They're always going to be a level above you. It's not like that. And the stats, they scale up, but honestly, like early game tilt is part of the game, and I want to, that's not worth building. It's not worth going that. Azure is worth it because it's such a cheap item. You don't have to scale up or anything. True Silver is gonna be good for people like Gideon, maybe Iggy, when you just want to, get damage out, get some magic resist out, and you want to use your ultimate to its full potential. So this would be somewhere more towards like a second or third item. So for playing safe. Spellbinder is still kind of useless. There's not really a good spot for it. Maybe Quang can make something out of it. We're not 100% sure. We'll see how Quang's kit is when it comes out. Um, Here we got Magnify. Magnify also probably a Quang item. We'll see how it is when Quang comes out. Other than that, I wouldn't look at building on any character. Proficiency, you can see it on like Decker mids and stuff like that. But I mean, Muriel's, but it's once again not a good item. But is it going to be a good on Quang? That could be a Quang item. And then we have I forgot this guy, golems. I think this is golems brace, right? This is really good for like when you're against a Kalari mid. When you're against a Kalari mid, I'd look at building this maybe third to fourth item. Maybe last item if she's not a good Kalari mid. But if you're getting pressured, I'd look into building this, relatively soon. World Breaker, better on people like Sevrog. I know there's some weird builds like Countess and tank mids and all that stuff, but I don't know. Because it's percent based off bonus HP, you're not really gonna get. It gives you 45 magic power, I believe, or maybe 55. But the percent of increase, you need a lot of bonus HP for it to be better. Hence why it stacks really well on Sevrog, but it won't really do too much here for majority of the mid laners. And then just the crests. I'm not necessarily gonna go through the crests, and they haven't changed much. My go-to crests are always gonna be Soul Bearer, Stasis, Time Flux. You want to have fun, and you just kind of want to output damage and come out. And it gives you penetration, which is why I personally do like running Time Flux, because it gives you that pen. And then of course getting Obelisk, which is getting a nerf actually in this coming patch, on how much damage it's gonna output per stack. So it still gives you pen and it gives you really high magic power, but it's not gonna give you anything for protection like Soul Bearer and Stasis are, which I personally am a big fan of. Um, and then Azure Core, yeah, like I said, it's a last item or you sell it, depending if you need to change anything up on your kit. But it's really good for scaling early game into mid game. I forgot what this guy's called Astral Catalyst. Astral Catalyst, nothing because of its only 20% cooldown reduction on kill. I mean, it sounds so good on paper, but it provides you like nothing. It gives you mana, like straight mana, no regen, cooldown, and magic power. It really doesn't give you that much. Hence why it's so low on the list. And I can't make anything out of it. Every single item basically gives you two passives, a ton of things, and a lot more beneficial. Usually you're going to use your ult once, and by the time another fight happens, you'll have your ult back up. You know, maybe you could pub stomp with it if you're like Faye or something, but like, I don't, I really don't see it. It could be very punishable, but you need a team that is not like you're going to be the solo carry. That's how you have to think of every single game. This, you're counting on your team in a way. It's a little too much in my opinion. But this is my overall mid lane items for the coming patch. Let me know what you guys think in the comments. If you guys enjoyed this video and if I should expand more on anything, any tips, as this is, I think, my second tier list, but this is more for mid items. Um, let's hope Megacosm is actually going to be good against tanks, and hopefully, we didn't get any nerf into tanks, which I think was really needed in hard CC. But I'm disappointed in this patch, and I wanted to try and share my information with others, and maybe we could discuss things. I do not know everything, and I am actually terrible at theory crafting. But hopefully we can start some discussion. So if you did like this, don't forget to subscribe, as it does help and motivate me to make more content. I stream on Twitch and on YouTube daily at around 6 Easternish. And yeah, I'll catch y'all later. Peace.